for 42 years.
I'm leaving this meeting tonight, so whatever we're doing.
You're speaking next.
Right now?
Next.
You're up.
All right. All right, if you don't mind if I sit down, my legs are giving up on me.
Happy birthday!
Gentlemen, like I said, my name is Richard and I am an alcoholic.
Sure.
I'm better known as Papa Richard. They gave me that name quite a while ago. I love it. Anyway, it's good to be 40, I can't believe I'm 42 years sober. I didn't really plan to stay sober this long. It just happened that way. I fell in love with Alcoholics Anonymous, and I'm still the same way. First, I wanna congratulate all the chip takers out here. And you, Paul, congratulations for coming in. My very first meeting, I wanted to come in with a sack over my head because out of about 75, 80 people that were in that meeting, I thought somebody was gonna know me and pick me up. You know, crazy things go in your, all through your head when you come into a meeting, and that's exactly how I was. I didn't feel comfortable in it. I wanted to run, but I stayed. I was in the treatment center, and I didn't really particularly care about being in this treatment center. I had talked to my doctor. I had a cardiologist. He was a good friend of mine. I had known him for quite some time, long time, about 3-4 years. And he talked to my wife and he said, "I think your husband is an alcoholic, and I believe he's having trouble with alcohol. I think you ought to go to this treatment center." So my wife told me, the doctor said I should go to a treatment center. What doctor? Dr. Lowe. And I said, "That fucking quack. What does he know about alcoholism?" But I called him a quack, and I, was furious what he was telling my wife. But anyway, I decided to go because she had her bags packed, and I have 4 children. I have 3 girls and a boy, and I knew if I didn't do something about my drinking, well, she's gonna leave. So I went to this treatment center really, and I didn't feel comfortable doing it, but I did go. I stayed 12 days. That's all the insurance was gonna pay for me because I had been in there already 2 weeks. I had a small episode with my heart again. Anyway, I stayed there 12 days and didn't like it. I hated it, and they kept taking us to meetings. They had volunteers coming in the treatment center and taking a bunch of guys and putting them in their cars and taking them to meetings, and I was one of them. And I was going to different meetings, and I was starting to learn something about alcoholism. I had no idea that the first drink would get you drunk. I had absolutely no idea that if you had that first drink, you could have won another one, and another one, and another one, and that's exactly how I was. If I had one drink, I wanted another one, until I got shit-faced, and I never wanted to get drunk. I hated getting drunk. I lost control, and I didn't like that. I never liked being being in control, but I hated it, and that's how it was. I just progressed drinking like that, So I had to go to that treatment center, and I learned quite a bit while I was in the 12 days that I was there, and going to different meetings. I stayed there, and this one counselor that was kind of watching over me. He suggested that I get a sponsor and work with a sponsor, try to do things that he had asked me to do. And I really don't need a sponsor. I don't need anybody telling me how to take care of myself. I've been doing this for 41 years. I was 41 when I got here. Anyway, this guy would tell me every day, did you get a sponsor? Finally, I just got too damn tired of him telling me that. I went down to a meeting one night, and there was one guy standing there, and he was up in the podium selling the grapevine. And I said, hell, I used to work for the Herald Examiner, I might be able to sell a grapevine. I used to sell papers. So I walked up to him and I asked him if he'd mind sponsoring me. His name was Matt Tampkin. And I really didn't know him, none at all. I just seen him there at that meeting selling grapevines. And I said, Matt, do you think you might have time to sponsor me? And he said, you serious about staying sober? And the best thing I could do is even think about it. I told him, yeah, I think so. And he said, okay, if you think so, that's good enough for me, we'll try it. So he started sponsoring me. The first thing he did is he handed me those grapevines and said, sell these things. So I walked around the room selling fucking grapevines. I had a job in that bitch in Alcoholics Anonymous. A couple of days in Alcoholics Anonymous, and I got a job. And I started selling the grapevines. I think they're about 15 cents, 10 cents at that time. And I kind of liked it, you know. The next week, I'm looking forward to selling those grapevines. And I started enjoying some of the people that I was meeting there at the meetings, you know, and I kind of felt comfortable. You know, I didn't have any blues inside me anymore, you know, and I was trying to think as clear as I could, even though this thing was still pretty well foggy. And I was just doing the best I could. And he said, if you do the best you can, you might survive. And I remember that just like it was yesterday, he told me that you might survive. Anyway, I kept doing it, and I was going here and going there. And one of my friends picked it out last week that he took a cake. A friend of mine, his name was Frank, better known as fucking Frank. But anyway, he said, when you're new, pick somebody out, pick a friend, and go to meetings. And I remembered that because there was a fellow there in that same treatment center, and his name was Pat M. And he had worked there at the hospital. And he had, when he got up to identify, when he took that 30-day chip, he identified, he said, this is the third time I've been here. And I said, holy shit. He must like it here. You know, hey, fucking food's not that good. Anyway, I teamed up with this guy, and we were going to meetings after meeting after meeting after meeting. And the more meeting I went to, it seemed like it got easier staying sober, you know, and I kind of enjoyed it. Not only did I enjoy it, but my wife fell in love with me again, and my kids weren't hiding from me anymore. I found my son hiding in the front. Excuse me. Hiding in the closet from me. And I remembered that, and I thought, it must have been terrible. You know, you don't realize, I didn't realize how bad I was scarring my kids, you know. And I just hated it. And thinking about it, I was just trying to stay sober. And by doing that, I was going to meetings. And this old sponsor of mine, he suggested I go to a morning meeting, a Saturday morning meeting, and go up and ask the guy, find the secretary and go and ask him if he might have a job for you. I didn't want to go, but I heard from the different meetings that these old timers have spies at these meetings. And if you don't show up, they call your sponsor up. So I went in fear that he's going to find out that I didn't go. But I did go. And you were having elections. Damn, what a day for me to go. They were having an election. Secretary, treasurer, coffee maker. And I was sitting there, and some guy stood up and says, I nominate this fellow in the back for coffee. And I turned around. There was nobody behind me. I believe this guy. I didn't know him, and I didn't say nothing to him. And I said, what the hell is going on? Is this how we treat people coming into alcoholics and much? And I didn't say nothing, I just sat there kind of numb. And the guy walked up to me and he says, Richard, my name is whatever his name, I forget his name. Anyway, he showed me how to make coffee. And great big pot like that. And I learned very well. And then they were bringing donuts. And the first couple of weeks I started thinking, donuts aren't very good for these guys drinking coffee and donuts early in the morning. So I started dressing up that table. I was bringing them cantaloupe, bananas, fresh watermelon, all kinds of different fruit, you know. This ought to be good for these guys. Maybe I'll keep them sober. But I wasn't thinking about myself. I was just thinking about everybody there in that meeting, you know, these old timers. And I'm telling you, I was fucking screwed. And but it turned out that I had the best looking table in Burbank and in Glendale there. And I had people coming from Burbank and San Fernando coming to that meeting and checking out I thought they were just checking out my table, but they were checking out my table. I couldn't believe it. Anyway, we got through that, and I was elected secretary there, and after a couple of years, and I just, what am I going to do as a secretary? I did the coffee, and I was doing something else, and I couldn't believe it. Hi, Doc, how are you? Anyway, I did that. I loved it, you know, and the more I did, that I kept thinking, this is not too bad. It was getting easier for me, easier. The more meetings I went to, the easier it got, and I loved it, you know. And I think about, when I think about all this stuff, I think about all the guys that I've met. Not only in this room, but we had that little room over here, right next door. It must have fit maybe 30 people. And I had people sitting on my knees, and the whole fucking place was just jam-packed with sweat. Tiny room. Jesus. But I called it the magic room. The magic room is because everybody that was going to that meeting continued coming back. Week after week after week after week. Year after year after year. We were there a long time. I mean a long time. Until COVID hit. And it kind of screwed everything up. But I'm telling you, it was a blessing that I was there. I used to get there and meeting started at 7 o'clock. When my very dearest friend, my band sponsor, he'd look at his watch, and I'd walk in at 10 after 7. And I couldn't remember to save my soul what time that meeting started. And I'd get there at 10 after 7, 20 after 7, just look at his watch and what the fuck happened? What time did it start? Anyway, the following week, I got there at 5 minutes to 7. Shit, this time I'm gonna be early. I got there at 5 minutes to 7, and all the seats were taken, and that room was just packed. Did I screw it up again? And I couldn't believe it. But I was early, and somebody got up and got me a chair. That's where I started meeting all these guys that were in there. And a lot of them saved my ass. I mean, yes, saved my bacon. Week after week after week, I make damn sure that I was there to see these guys. Pat, Tom, excuse me.
This guy.
Michael,
Huh?
Frank.
Uh-uh.
So many of them were out there every day, every week. And I got to know them well. I played golf with them. Loved golf. And things just went on and better and better and better, you know. And each year I take another cake. I think taking cakes is fantastic. because it gives you a chance to look at yourself and see how much you've grown. You know, and, I've dedicated myself to helping people, and that's really the success of my 42 years of being sober. Is thinking about not myself but others. How would I like to treat them? How would they like to be treated? And what do they need if I can help them? And it's kind of like that, and it's perfect for me. It's just perfect. I've done that so many years. I found myself going to my doctor, one of the finest doctors you could think of, and or have, and he told me, he said, "What are you doing tonight?" And I said, "Nothing that I know of, but I was going to a meeting. I was going to meetings every night." But he asked me, "Would you like to come with me?" "Where are you going?" "We're going to go feed the homeless." "Really?" So I started doing that. Every Thursday and Wednesday night, I would go to try to get done on Wednesday. To go downtown and feed the homeless. What a humbling job that was. And I felt so good. I felt so good about it. And these people that didn't have to do their shit. They did a basket of food to each one. So great about it, you know. Happened. It just happened that helped me stay sober. The loving God and the fellowship, a fellow just like this one, guys like you, are the ones that are helping me stay sober. I love it, you know, and I just keep coming back. You know, feeding the homeless was just part of it, just part of it, you know. It's about 14, 15 years ago, my daughter called me up, said, "Dad, how would you like to go to the cathedral this morning, Sunday morning mass?" And I hadn't been there. I'd never been there before. And I said, yeah, honey, I'll go with you. So we got up and went down to the cathedral, had mass down there. For the next 700 years, every Sunday I was going down to the cathedral. If I had to go by myself, I'd go by myself. Times that I was going with my wife or my daughter, and my daughter wouldn't meet me there. What a feeling it was just to be able to go back into church again, thinking that maybe the walls would crumble in, you know. Well, they didn't. I was surprised, and I just loved it. I just fell in love with it, you know, and it got me more spiritual, you know, because I knew damn well that I wasn't doing this thing on my own. I couldn't. There's absolutely no way. I thought about it because I had tried to stop drinking before. Before I came into Alcoholics Anonymous, I would stop drinking. My wife said, "Dad, you got to stop drinking. You got to slow up. You got to do something. But you're drinking way too much." So I stopped for a week or two. But before you know it, I felt good too. Stopping drinking, but something would happen. It seemed like the fucking walls were just coming in. I couldn't stand sobriety. I just couldn't stand being sober. So I'd start drinking again. Before you know it, I'm back in jail. I've been in so fucking many jails, it's unbelievable. I've been in jails that be fucking closed up now. That's how old I am. You know, it just kept going, and I got better and better and better. And I found something here in Alcoholics Anonymous, something very special. And before I close, I want to wish you and everyone here that you find the same thing, because it's a way of living. I found out that I make the right decision. I don't make any bad decisions, and I try not to anyway. But all the decisions that I've made are all good and come true. Everything comes true. You know, did I ever tell you that I had a money problem? That was one part that I just found out. It's a 1974 Monte Carlo. I can't tell you how many fucking times I lost that car. I'd love to tell you that, but it's embarrassing. I would take that car, get out of work, and go down San Fernando Road, stop at my old place, you know. And first thing you know, I come out and I can't find my car. I'm so fucking hammered that I couldn't find my car. And what was happening, I finally figured it out. What was happening, I was going into one bar, leaving my car, and then kept going to different bar hopping, kept going 2 or 3 streets down the road, and and, couldn't scratch my head. I had my car, you know, and I had to get a ride home. One time it took me 3 fucking days to find that car.
Smart girl.
That's why I stopped driving. I actually stopped driving. I told my wife, "Oh, this is yours." I bought me an old Pontiac, and I lost that Pontiac too. Never did find that one, but anyway, it's been a pleasure. I don't do that anymore. I don't have to do that anymore. Thank God for Alcoholics Anonymous. It's changed my life, changed my way of thinking. It's given me one gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. You see my friends who were up here? Those guys held me up constantly when things were going shitty. I didn't think what was going on. Well, they were the ones that held me up. And I'm like, oh, I'll never forget that. And I never forget this one. And that's how I got to 42 years. I always said I'm going to start drinking again. When I first come into Alcoholics Anonymous, I just couldn't stand it. I couldn't stand Alcoholics Anonymous. And I said, God damn it. I was a whiskey drinker. I love this. I can smell it right now. And I could taste that thing going down my throat. God damn it, I love that stuff. And I kept telling myself, I'm going to go out one of these nights. Not tonight. Not tonight. I'll just go to that meeting. And that went on and on and on and on. And that night never came. I just said, fuck it. I'll never go. I started thinking about all the harm that I did, you never wanted to know me when I was drinking. That's how fucking bad I was. And I got fired 5 times from 5 beautiful bakers making big fucking money in the 60s. And I couldn't believe it. I said, fuck it. You know? They'll miss me. Yeah, they will. But anyway, that's what alcoholic did to me, you know. It just kept me right down in the gutter, and I hated it. You know, I said, you start drinking with a lower companion. Fuck, I was a lower companion. Nobody wanted to drink with me anymore. But it all changed because of Alcoholics Anonymous, me going to a treatment center and meeting people just like you. Just like you. You know, this is what happened. I love Greg here. Greg, I come into this room when they opened it up for me, and who's standing there shaking your hand? Greg. And he's been here how long now, Greg? 4 or 5? Isn't that fantastic? He's here. And I remember the very first night he got here. We come in and we stayed. If you want to stop drinking, if you want to change your life, this is the place to do it. The loving God and the fellowship of Alcoholics Anonymous will lead you the way. Lead you right down that path of happy destiny. And for the last 42 years I've been on that road. I'm not going to leave it. I'm not going to leave it because this is what's happening. And meeting people like you, I'll never forget it. I'll just never forget it. Thank you so very much. I'm going to turn it over to you.